Hey guys, today I wanted to make this video just talking about how my overreaching week went, little training updates, and then explain what overreaching kind of is, what it consists of, why I do it, that type of good stuff. So right here, you can see this is me hitting a PR on a flat bench with 280 pounds for 6 reps. This is about RPE 9.5. I was tempted to go for a 7th rep, but I was kind of 50-50 on whether or not I would hit it. And I don't want to miss a lift because you don't get stronger in training from missing lifts. You get stronger from making lifts. So just trying to stay in that pocket, respect my limits. So happy with that PR regardless because it's a PR. And then right here, I got 225 for 10 reps. Again, RPE 9.5. Really happy with this. Pressing progress has been very, very good. Um, I think I have volume basically in the exact correct place for hypertrophy, for optimizing adaptations, exercise selection, etc. Overall, very, very pleased with how things went this training cycle on pressing. Um, and then you'll see here in the next clip, I decided I was going to go for an AMRAP with 495 pounds, going for anywhere between 8 to 10 reps. But on this first set, I tried a different clip, and it wasn't exactly as much of a lockjaw as I thought it would be. So, kind of you can see here, the plates immediately start slipping with the whip of the bar once the deadlift bar bends. And then on this rep, it ultimately gives out, and then sad boy hours commence. So yeah, it's always sad when that happens. But I decided I would try again to go for PR because I didn't feel like that set was overly challenging. Um, and so I just kind of strapped up again, turned on some loud music. I went to my deadlift place. I don't really, yeah, that's the only way I don't really know how to describe it. Basically, turn my brain off and just made my body do this. So I ended up getting 495 for 8 reps at RPE 9. I don't really like going RPE 10 on any sort of leg movement just because it's just so fatiguing. Like there's a lot more room for error on like a deadlift when you're training all out maximally as opposed to like a bench press just because it's heavier weight, it's much more taxing on your body, on your joint structures, and so in case something does go wrong, it's going to be a lot more debilitating generally. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. That was a tough set. Um, but I also did change how I squat because so for hypertrophy, I've kind of noticed that I haven't been squatting correctly. Because I have such long legs and a short torso, my body tends to like to bend over and fold over and kind of do like a good morning and rely a lot on my hip extensor muscles to kind of muscle the weight up. And while that's not necessarily wrong for powerlifting, in hypertrophy, since the goal is to maximally stimulate the musculature, in this case being the quads, I just, this is, you can see that I'm staying a lot more upright here, and I am really forcing my knees out. And I'm trying to make sure that my hips are dropping straight down as possible. You can see I'm still kind of going back to my bad habits of the knees, of like hips drifting away. So I want to fix that. But this was really humbling, and it kind of went to show me like, how much I have to work on squat technique. I've been working a lot on shoulder mobility this mesocycle because I do plan on making the switch to low bar for my strength and powerlifting competitions because it's very blatant from my deadlifts that my extensor muscles are just much stronger. If you look at my limb segment lengths, legs relative to torso, it just makes more sense to switch to low bar for strength purposes because I'll have a bigger total, which means more success in powerlifting. So yeah, that's that. And then you'll kind of see like that's kind of it for the highlight reel. Um, I kind of everything else is accessory, back off, volume work. Um, so I'll let that roll. But I wanted to make this have an informative segment in this video talk about what overreaching is, why I do it, and the benefits of it, signs, how to manage it, all that good stuff. So first off, overreaching is basically a conscious decision to exceed what your body can recover from. It takes advantage of the fatigue fitness model. It basically by so as you train, you're going to accumulate fatigue, and you're also going to adapt week to week. In your overreaching week, you make a decision to exceed what your body can recover from, and then you deload. Now you might ask, well, why do that? Why not just train underneath maximum recoverable volume all the time? The unfortunate thing is that fatigue will catch up to you if you're performing any sort of overload training. Because if you are having, you know, if you are overload training, you will be inducing fatigue. And since you're basically taking out that, fatigue cost, you need to repay that debt via a reduction in fatigue, which can really only be done by a deload, which is a reduction in intensity and overall volume, with volume being the primary one. But the reason why I functionally overreach, functional overreaching is basically, again, like I said, the planned decision to exceed what your maximum recoverable volume systemically. The reason why I do that is because basically I'll have a supercompensation effect if it's done properly, where when I'm deloading, I'll be able to reduce that fatigue while keeping fitness really, really high. Fitness in strength sport would be your readiness to lift the weights, so basically how strong you are. So then when I come back into my training for the next mesocycle, I'll be even more jacked, even more strong, be able to have even better training in that session. I prefer this as opposed to the reactive model of deloading and accumulation, because then I can train really, really, really hard, really blast myself, really take advantage of this fatigue fitness model, take care of that fatigue, and then once I do get into my next mesocycle, I can have even better training. And this is something that I feel like is a big game changer for a lot of people, because a lot of times most lifters, either they don't train hard enough, or they are constantly training with that lingering fatigue. The way that, my training program has worked is they start off from minimum effective volume and they go up to maximum recoverable volume / slightly above, with increases in intensity via RPE alterations going up through the overreaching week. So what that accomplishes is it makes sure that I'm constantly pushing my body. I am stimulating an adaptive response. So therefore, I have no excuse not to get better. And then once I do really blast myself, I functionally overreach. I deload, and then I come back to the next training cycle. I repeat it, except this time I'm more jacked and more strong, and I can constantly having this productive training. Um, so that's essentially why I overreach. It's something that I do recommend that most people do incorporate. However, it's something that you need to know how to do correctly. You need to know how to properly program in order to get the benefits of it. So if you don't know what you're doing, get a coach who has qualifications to write you a good program. Um, but yeah, going forward, I'm very, very happy with how this mesocycle went. For my next mesocycle, I'm going to change up a few things, not a ton, just because I have limited equipment, but because one of my biggest goals is to really get my legs bigger and really get my squat up. I'm going to experiment with more unilateral leg work instead of just pounding away squats consistently, um, because I feel like I can get a better stimulus to fatigue rate ratio, be able to highly stimulate my quads to a greater extent than I could in the past, without the fatigue downsides of squats. That's also another reason why I changed my technique, was because I think that through this way of really, of changing my technique where it is more better suited for hypertrophy, I'll be able to get a better adaptive response and potentially grow my legs more. So that's a big goal going forward. And then beyond that, I honestly feel like I have my volume landmarks pretty much squared away. Every single muscle group I know I can recover from. I'm happy with exercise selection. I'm really happy with how physique progress has went. So yeah, that's basically it for this voiceover. I thank you guys so much for watching. I'm just gonna play some music here for the rest of it, but yeah, thanks guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.
There's something inside me that pulls beneath the surface, consuming, confusing. This lack of self-control I fear is never ending, controlling. I can't seem to find myself again. My walls are closing in.
Without a sense of confidence, I'm convinced that there's just too much pressure to take.
I felt this way before, so insecure. So insecure. So insecure. Upon me, distracting, reacting against my will. I stand beside my own reflection. It's haunting how I can't seem to find myself again. My walls are closing in.
Without a sense of confidence, I'm convinced that there's just too much pressure to take.
I felt this way before.